Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
We are proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company vidIQ as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 10 million views.
We are proud that we have more than 1,000 new subscribers in the last month, and that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
Over 500,000 of you have watched this show in the last 90 days. We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ community. There is no other news program in the LGBT world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Tuesday, January 28th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
HOTspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are a part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, HOTspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 10,000 LGBTQ television stories. We will produce the 25th anniversary of our Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. Our magazine's events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 anchors will host the show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Rajee Narinesingh, a famous transgender activist, actress, author, mystic, and reality TV personality. She is an activist for TransSOCIAL. Rajee, TransSOCIAL advocates for trans visibility and unity within the LGBTQ community, currently serving the community in Florida and Georgia. Tell me what is happening.
Well, there's a lot happening. First of all, it's great to be back. And this Thursday, what is the date? Anyway, this coming Thursday. Thank you.
The 31st.
Yes, and it's the day after Chinese New Year's, right? Lunar New Year's.
Oh,
so
I don't.
So anyway, this Thursday is the opening, grand opening of our new medical division here in Fort Lauderdale. It's called Mayfair Medical, and it's at Thursday on Thursday at 6 p.m. So I just want to say that our community, if there was ever a time for us to be united, this is the time. We at TransSOCIAL are here for the community. You can reach out to us at transsocial.org, and we have a number of services that we provide. And you know, there's power in unity. That whole thing of divide and conquer, it is real. So we must stay unified and just move forth and continue the good fight towards equity and equality for not just one type of people, but for all people.
Thank you. That's really well said. I have no.
Do I get an A plus?
Yes.
Well, we see your organization everywhere. Didn't we see them at My Hollywood Prom?
Yes.
You guys had
Yes, we were.
It says a lot with everything we're dealing with right now to know that there are trans groups that we can work with and be a part of it. And if someone's looking for help, that there are groups out there.
Let me tell you, the powers that be, quote unquote, I just call them the evil ones. They want us to hold our head down. They want us to hide away. And it is so important for us to be visible more than ever. So that's why we got to get out do the prides, and also just go out in the community as a people. We have a group that we do on Saturdays where we get together. They're friends of mine, but we go to random restaurants, and you should see the people. We walk in, but that is a statement of activism. Just being present sometime can be a statement.
And it is commendable that you guys will go out there and do that despite the risk.
Yes.
Hate crime is at all times high, especially against the T of our LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary, but you know what? We have to just keep going. And fear can be very debilitating and I would say paralyzing, but there's a saying, and it's by anonymous. I can't give credit to who wrote that, but it says, fear came to the door and knocked. Faith opened the door and there was nothing there. So, yeah, there you go. We got to keep going, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajee. Queer News Tonight thanks you for all the work you're doing at TransSOCIAL.
Thank you.
Let's welcome anchor Alex Morash. Alex has served as editor-in-chief of Options magazine, media director of the National LGBTQ Task Force, and press secretary for the Florida Democratic Party. Alex, Pride Skate is now Love Skate on February 6th. Tell me what's happening.
Sure, Bobby. On Thursday, February 6th, HOTspots magazine Happening Out and Extreme Action Park will host Pride Skate Nights, a vibrant evening of fun, fundraising, and fabulousness. Tickets are available for $15, which include a skate rental, or VIP tickets for $25 offers 2 free beers or wines. The event will be benefiting Stonewall Pride, promises a family-friendly atmosphere with music and video mixes by DJ T Pro, and this month's celebration has the feeling that love is in the air for Valentine's Day. It will have a special performances by Divas Velvet Lenore and Rihanna Patron. For more information, you can visit hotspotsmagazine.com. And every time I've been to the Extreme Action Park, it's always a fun time. It's a great place.
I love the arcades. I can't skate to save my life, though.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just basically hold my beer on the sidelines like.
Well, you know what I love is that it's there, at Extreme. And believe me, we went, a trans group of mine, we went some years ago. And again, making a statement. We were there, we had a good time, and we were around a lot of cisgendered, heterosexual people.
Yeah.
They have a lot, of huge variety, not just machines, skates. They also have go-karts, which I'm dying to drive.
Honey.
Goodness. Yeah.
Listen,
but they're always booked solid.
The go-kart, I don't know if I could do the go-kart. I might need some extra glue, Gorilla Glue to hold everything together.
The other thing is they have escape rooms, like real-life escape rooms where they solve puzzles.
FDP, we did a whole laser tag thing there once. They have all sorts of stuff there. Yeah, it's gigantic.
Yeah.
Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Pride Skate Nights on February 6th.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor and one of my dearest friends in Wilton Manors, Dr. Bobby Hoon. Bobby, born in Hong Kong and given us an international perspective, Bobby is a certified civil and family mediator, and you're the founder of BH Conflict Resolution Services. Bobby, HOTspots magazine Happening Out is presenting the Can Community Health Midland Black History Month Cookout celebration on February 1st. Tell me what's happening, Bobby.
Well, a vibrant Black History Month cookout celebration is set for this Saturday, February 1st. Presented by Can Community Health, Midland Cares, and HOTspots Happening Out, the free family-friendly event will feature complimentary food, a kids zone with raffles, cash prize games, and music. The celebration honors Black history while fostering inclusivity for the LGBTQ community. The events will be at Mickle Park in Wilton Manors. Can Community Health is one of the LGBTQ community leaders in providing LGBTQ healthcare for the Black community. For event details, go to cookout.hotspots.lgbt. Well, one thing I know some people get confused about Mickle Park. Mickle Park is off Power Line not off Wilton Drive.
Yes.
So
It is.
sometimes it gets hard to find because I know I used to go to kickball games there, on weekends with my friends.
You can literally ride right past it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a kind of blink if you miss, blink and you miss it.
I don't even normally enter through Powerline. I go through the back.
Yeah,
How about
you can see from Andrews either.
Yeah,
But also shout out to Midland, who is also my medical provider. They're awesome.
And I love that this community is doing something for Black History Month.
Yeah.
Because for a long time, people of color was like an ongoing theme, or for lack of a better word, that they said they weren't feeling quite welcomed in Wilton Manors in the community. So, for a number of years now, I've seen like more of a presence and events like this. And it's important because, people of color, Black and brown, are a part of the community too.
Right. And I think the location is smart because I've mentioned, like where we live in Wilton House, and like Wilton House and Andrews Ave apartment, you have a much more racially diverse group of people living in those apartments.
The further west you go, the more diverse.
Yes.
Yeah. And like a lot of people don't realize that with Wilton.
That's true.
And it is truly a diverse community. I mean, you can find people of all colors and stripes there.
Yes, you can.
One thing that we unite against is fascism and, authoritarianism.
Yes.
Anyways, all right.
Racism and misogyny.
Yes, indeed. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Can Community Health Midland Black History Month Cookout celebration on February 1st. Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Dr. Bobby Huen, and let's queer up business. Breaking news. LGBTQ Axel Miami Beach Hotel plans to close. Queer News Tonight has been on this story since the beginning of the year. Executive producer Elle Ferguson has been trying to interview hotel staff in Miami and at corporate headquarters in Barcelona. After repeated attempts, Sylvia Perez Vinolas, Director of Marketing and Communication in Barcelona, confirmed the closure but asked us to wait to report the story until March. Queer News Tonight has decided that this request was unreasonable. We can report tonight that Axel Hotels, the largest LGBTQ hotel and hetero-friendly brand in the world, will close the only American location in March. According to Axel, the chain had occupancy of 3/4 LGBTQ and 1/4 heterosexual. The hotel has 8 locations in Europe, and Axel South Beach, Miami, was the largest at 160 rooms. The adult-only hotel property is located at the 1500 block of Collins Avenue. The hotel opened to much fanfare with slogans like, quote, "Yeah, I'm going to Miami Beach. I'm a 90s bitch," and, quote, "I'm here, beach," end quote. Vanilla said about the closure, quote, "This closing was a pure business decision from building owners since they decided to move forward with a new project, and they needed to do an important renovation to the facilities, which requires the building to be closed and available for debt for a long time. We cannot communicate this info so far, but once we can release it, we will provide you interviews and all the info you need for your story," end quote. Inquiries to property ownership were not returned. Several sources close to the hotel said that the decision was made to renovate the property into a more financially successful use of the property. It appears that the new property will have no association with the South Beach LGBTQ community. Another source close to the hotel revealed that the hotel has been market stressed for a long period since its January 2020 opening. In addition to the COVID-19 pandemic, the hotel average daily rates were generally far lower than many other comparable South Beach hotels. Axel South Beach was the largest full-service LGBTQ hotel in America that featured food and beverage, resort features, and was home to many queer South Florida events. Ironically, the only Axel in the Western Hemisphere would now be Havana. Previously, Axel South Beach was known as a Haddon Hall Hotel. Axel talks about the uniqueness of South Beach community and this gay hotel, saying on their website, quote, "In the middle of Collins Avenue, at the heart of the Art Deco universe and of pastel pink and green colors of the Flamingo Park Historic District of South Beach, you will find the building that is home to our first hotel in the USA. An authentic treasure from 1940, restored to its original grandeur and recognized with the Award for Historical Preservation and Restoration by AIA Florida. Miami is the place where everything is reinvented. Versace reinvented fashion, Gloria Estefan reinvented music, and Beckham reinvented a football team. But reinventing is maintaining the nature of a thing while adding something new that updates it, end quote. Reinvention is definitely coming with an anticipated closing of Axel South Beach on March 30th. Well, I have lived, I know South Florida for quite a long time. This will be, so far I know of 3 gay full hotels that they have tried to open. Now, the lone survivor is now Hotel Gathering. And there was another one many years ago. They flopped and changed it to a mixed, just friendly, not exclusive resort. On the other, I'm not surprised because honestly, if any kind of LGBTQ, if you're gonna cater to LGBTQ community, I can sadly say that LGBTQ community in South Florida is no longer in South Beach. Yes, we were there a long time ago.
Exactly.
But there's still some of our community members there. But the day of the halcyon days of Warsaw Ballroom and all, all the bars that lined up on Lincoln Road and everything, they're all gone now.
Oh my God!
I mean, Lincoln Road is now, there are no more like independent shops. Lincoln Road is just basically Aventura Mall, but now you get the sun beat down on you.
Well, go ahead.
Oh yeah, like the Miami gentrification is just making it less appealing to a lot of people. I'm not shocked that another hotel is going through financial stress. When I see these sorts of things, the thing that I take away from this is, I think this actually bodes really poorly for the Wilton Manors Hotel project when you think of its long-term economics.
I don't know.
You can say that, but first off, we don't have a beach next to us. Wilton Manors just doesn't. And this isn't to attack anyone. I think a lot of people give the Wilton Manors Commission a hard time, thinking that things should be being built. And I'm like, our economy is not as strong as people think it is in Florida. Tourism. We were a big tourism part for America for a quarter century. People are, even if you take DeSantis and all that stuff out of the equation, all the politics, people are trying other places right now. Will they come back eventually? Yes, but I think that this is a sign of a larger economic problem facing South Florida.
Well, I mean, Florida is really expensive right now too. In terms of, not even in terms of just cost of living, but also just coming here. I mean, Disney prices rises year by year. And in Miami Beach, where they're talking about, in the location they're talking about, those hotel rooms are some of the most expensive in the entire country. South Beach has some of the most I just checked the location and I just realized that it is actually right next to Hotel Aqua, which every year I go to one of the Art Miami fairs, which is in the Aqua Hotel. And but the bottom line is that the places there are unreasonably expensive, and it is for really rich tourists only.
Yeah. Well, what you say, Dr. Bobby, it really resonated with me because I'll be giving my age away, but I came down here in 1989. And so South Beach was popping for LGBTQ. And so all that you mentioned about it, I remember those days. But for a long time, it hasn't really felt to me like LGBTQ friendly. So I say that to make this point. Who in our community is going to pay all that money to stay at a hotel where you're in an environment that isn't as LGBTQ friendly? Now, with you, I'm thinking in regards to, yes, there's a waning thing with our tourism, but I think that Wilton Manors is one of the most thriving LGBTQ communities in the world, and I think that no one can take that away from us. So it'll have its peaks and valleys.
I think we're a thriving community. That's not the same thing as thriving tourism. I've noticed lately on the drive, there are still tourists, there's still cruise ships and whatnot, but there's a lot of people come from south, Miami area come up to us. So they're not traveling from Massachusetts or California. They're more local people that are coming to us.
The thing
is a good thing.
We are among the 3 counties in the what's known as the Gold Coast of Florida, whatever. Palm Beach, Broward, Miami-Dade, and Monroe has Key West. But out of those 3 counties, Wilton Manors is the only, what we will used to call it, the gay ghetto.
Yes, and I'm going to tell you, I feel probably, I would say I have to say, I feel the most comfortable here in Fort Lauderdale around Wilton Manors. I have done conferences up in Palm Beach, and I do not like the energy. I don't like it. I don't feel like welcomed or accepted. And you know, Miami is okay. I go down there from time to time for different things. It's not, but yes, you made a good point, Dr. Bobby. It's, you know, about this area being such a wonderful place for us LGBTQ. And hopefully the tourism will pick up again. Maybe they need to do a campaign, you know, like
maybe it's okay if our economy shifts to other things, though.
Yeah,
you know, like so many people move here now and want to live here, and that spurs bars to stay open and nightclubs.
Oh, honey,
I just
try to get a sorry to cut you, but try to get a parking spot on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday. People are going to Wilton Manors.
I've given up a long time ago. I just take like
Uber.
Yeah, but like my only thing is like if the Wilton Manors Hotel doesn't move forward, this might be one of the reasons why, and it won't be anyone in the community's fault.
I actually think that the opposite. I think the Axel Hotel thought about coming to Fort Lauderdale, like even during the pandemic. They would have probably done better. They would build a brand. They would have welcomed like gay cruise tourists.
Well, also like I feel so bad that they opened in January of 2020.
Oh, that was horrible.
The worst luck.
Talk about the worst timing.
That's like the worst. Like it's like a reverse lottery ticket.
Yes, exactly.
Survives, thank goodness.
Well, and I find it interesting, real quick, before we go to the next story. I find it interesting that they chose Havana, Cuba.
I'm not surprised because Cuba actually has a very pro-gay community.
I believe that the niece of Fidel Castro is lesbian.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's her sexual. I know she was a big advocate, but two-thirds of Cuban voters.
She was a lesbian. Yeah.
2/3 of Cuban voters.
You're outing her.
I know, right?
You're outing her on worldwide TV now.
2/3 of Cuban voters voted to pass all sorts of LGBTQ rights.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
I'm not shocked that Cuba.
I just hope that it's not exclusive for tourists, because what the Cuban government does is they have these tourist areas that are exclusively for tourists, and the Cuban people aren't allowed in them. So let's see what happens.
Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platforms like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Alex Morash, and let's queer up South Florida. HOTspots magazine celebrates 40 years with a special Black History Month edition. HOTspots is celebrating 40 years with a special Black History Month issue coming out this Thursday. The magazine is part of the HOTspots Happening Out, the network, the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media group in America. This new HOTspots issue will include interesting features, including a special feature by Jamar Baptiste on Black History Month in Wilton Manors, celebrating the Black LGBTQ community and the survivors of racial attack. Don't miss the interview with actor Fernando by Paul Hutnick. Fernando is known for his role in Exterior, a queer film directed by Mark Schwab. Talking about exciting interviews, the magazine has also talked with Daniel Bateman from Sex, Love, and Venice. You also know him from his appearances on Broadway in Wicked. You must give it a read. Valentine's Day fans can't miss the gift guide featured in this new issue as well, with over 35 gift ideas for our LGBTQ celebrations of love. February is not just about Valentine's or Black History Month. This February, Florida will celebrate an annual event called the Florida Rubber Weekend from February 13th. The issue has covered everything you need to know about this queer culture event. And of course, you can read popular features like Hot Puzzles, Hot Bodies by Leo Harley, Deep Inside Hollywood by Romeo Sanvancita, HOTspots Hotties featuring Louis Brown and La Vista La Croix, and What's Hot and Out with Scott by Scott Holland. Grab your free copy of HOTspots magazine on Thursday, January 30th, or you might miss all the fun. I think this is just a really great issue. I can't keep my eyes off of the attractive shirtless men on the cover.
It's the cover that really catches your eye, isn't it?
They picked the right cover for sure. Yeah, they really did.
Yes, I'm a middle-aged gay man who is gawking at the magazine covers. I'm sure someone is about to cancel me right this minute.
Well, then they'll have to cancel almost all of Wilton Manor.
That's true. That's true.
Well, I love the fact that HOTspots is doing this because, HOTspots magazine is such a staple in our community. So I love that.
And it is one of those, you used to work for Options, obviously, and it's one of those survivors of the LGBTQ publication extinction event, I like to call it.
Really?
Many of them have went down the drain. I mean, Windows is gone.
I don't know if Windows is completely gone, but I know it's not. But
it's
when you
not
look
print
at
anymore.
Magazines that are LGBTQ that have hit the 40-year mark, other than Options and HOTspots, I know Out and The Advocate are two, and The Washington Blade are the only ones I can think of off the top
maybe
of
Frontier.
my head.
No, LA's gone, right? LA Frontiers. I don't know.
I don't know if it's still around.
Oh, I don't know if it's still around
It's a small crew that have lasted the.
These are very dedicated publications that caters to our community. That's how we know things are happening.
Yes.
Before the event of the web, before hookup sites and event sites and whatever, Eventbrite and whatnot. That's how we know that our community has events that draw us into the community, that you can take it home and read it, and even when you're in the closet, you can find out what's going on.
And more than ever during these times, we need publications like that, because we want our stories, just like this TV show, Queer News, we want our stories to be told authentically.
Yeah.
And we want them to be told with, honor and grace.
Exactly.
And so we can't depend on the mainstream media to do that for us.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, shout outs to Pop Aspen, who is my friend, who is also part of the participant for the Rubber Weekend. And, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer non-profit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Rajee Narinesingh, and let's queer up drag culture. Does RuPaul's Drag Race provide proof we don't value our LGBTQ older people? RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17 has sparked debate about age representation in drag. Louisville Queen Lexi Love, 33, was playfully called Grandma by fellow contestants on the show. Social media was full of reactions raising questions about the show's treatment of older queens, despite being hosted by RuPaul, who is 65. The show's track record with older contestants is mixed. Across 73 winners in the Drag Race universe, only 5 were 40 or older. That is 7%. Sharon, the oldest winner at 45, won Drag Race España in 2022. Casting trends for the platform show younger queens are dominating. Season 17's average contestant age is 26.3, the lowest in franchise history. Since the show began, just queens aged 40 or older have competed, 8 of them. Older contestants often face jokes and challenges ill-suited to their experience. Tamisha Iman, Charlie Hides, and others exited early, and critics believe it is due to the high-energy tasks like lip-syncing and cheerleading. Fans, however, champion our older queens. Social media overwhelmingly supports Lexi Love and calls for more seasoned representation. National LGBTQ senior organizations like SAGE and even the AARP says senior discrimination is prevalent in America. SAGE adds that it is especially difficult for LGBTQ seniors in our youth-obsessed, quote-unquote, LGBTQ community. LGBTQ seniors have many unique and important issues to address, and our entire community should be sensitive to their unique needs. Social media viewers overwhelmingly express they want future seasons to feature queens with decades of experience. RuPaul Drag Race airs Friday on MTV and WOW presents Plus. Oh boy. Okay, so I'm an older queen, obviously, although I know that I look at least 30, 35. I don't want to push you.
Girl.
I love you for that. But, you know, it's interesting when you look at the statistics, and it does exist. The age discrimination does exist. And I think especially here in the Western part of the globe, it's all about being young, youthful and all of that. And you see it in the marketing and everything. I like the fact that the public is supporting the fact that they'd like to see, more seasoned performers, elders on the show. Because the reality is, we've been around the block, we've been through some stuff, and we have something to offer, and I feel that way sometimes when I'm in younger spaces, like, they people want to disregard me a little bit, not everyone, but I felt that before. And it's like, baby, and not to pat myself on the back and, any other transgender person my age or older. But I want to say to them, it's because of you, because of us, that you get to do what you do. And, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but it's the reality. Mm-hmm. And I think that goes across the board with elders, LGBTQ or not.
And it's you want to go first?
I think I really agree. I mean, on one hand, I would argue that in reality shows, they tend to have a bias towards youth. I mean, exceptions are made when celebrities are competing, it's like Celebrity Apprentice, when they have Joan Rivers. She may she rest in peace, old as a hill. But on the other hand, that's the nature of reality shows. They feature a lot more young people just because young people make for exciting television.
Yes.
But on the other hand, I believe that, especially in our community, that youth is drastically overvalued.
Yeah.
We come from two generations of people who are basically dying of middle age from HIV/AIDS. And therefore, we don't think of ourselves as surviving for that long. And, a gay community hasn't really considered going into the retirement home until fairly recently. As gays, LGBTQ specific retirement home, it's not even a thing until this decade.
Yeah. Well, the 40-plus-year-old queens are not looking to go into a retirement home. But we can make jokes about Bob the drag queen getting ready for her retirement. But in all seriousness, I find the older queens always way more interesting on RuPaul's Drag Race. Bianca Del Rio, she was 38 when she competed.
Yeah.
Way more interesting than some of the young queens. That was one of the last seasons I really watched, because after that season, with Bob's season, they had a slew of kids in their 20s that were they were very pretty young men, and I'm like, I'm sorry. The whole point, I'm sorry, I'm speaking girl. The whole point. Girl,
oh Lord, it's about to be a fight on Queer News tonight.
Seriously, if you're this pretty little boy, with all due respect, out of drag, you're not that interesting as a drag queen. Some of the best and most interesting drag queens are gay men who decide they're at a point in their life where they want to do something more interesting and be more talking about what they're going through and showing more entertainment and growth. And when you see a 19-year-old put some glitter and a wig on, I'm like, I don't find that interesting or fun or great. Go just be a go-go dancer at that point.
I'm going to say this. Okay, so when I look at old pictures of myself, I love seeing the youthfulness, but I would never go back if I couldn't go back without the wisdom and confidence that I have now. And just want to point out something. The Golden Bachelor was a hit. Mm-hmm. Last season, it was, I think, they got more watchers or viewers than all of the other Bachelor shows.
Yeah.
So, that speaks to the fact that elderly people, well, I'm not elderly yet, but older people have something to offer. We have a wealth of knowledge and experience. And, hey, what makes wine good?
Right. And before
age, honey, and aged wine is better. Yeah. And that's how I like to look at myself. Go ahead.
Before RuPaul's Drag Race, at least where I lived in Providence as a kid, the drag queens were not like these 19, 22-year-olds. It was always like these older performers. Like in Providence, we had Kitty Litter, and I don't even know how old she is now. She would even make a joke about being an old queen. Like that was sort of the experience of the gay scene back then. Was the drag queens were not like the young kids. They were the more seasoned, like fun queer that everyone knew.
Well, I mean, back in the day when I lived in Boston for college, 1,000 years ago now, there's Athlon and Axel. They even do like 21 and like under 21 nights, so that, the kids can go in and watch drag, and all the drag queens are much older than the current crop. But I think the experience part is what like Gen Z now call lore. Like these people have backstories, and like personal experience is a hard component of a performer.
Yeah. And there's the professionalism. Like I had the distinct pleasure of working once with Chad Michaels. I was a back end person. I drove her and like all that. Such a professional actress and actor, like just so great to work with like an experienced queen like Chad Michaels. You know, some of these kids today, you hear about some of the stories about what happens and they're a mess backstage. Not someone like Chad Michaels.
I just got to say this, honey. I just got to say this. They were calling that contestant's grandma at 33. So what the heck am I? A great-great-great-grandmother?
Oh,
I mean, come on. Like, hello.
If someone's grandma 33, I can say a lot of mean jokes about red states. I'm not going to go there, but that means that I'm like the creature of the crypt at this point. Okay, anyway, the creature says, this is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Alex Morash, and let's queer up gay culture. DC World Pride board member resigns to take a role as Trump's acting Secretary of Labor. Washington's Capital Pride organization will present World Pride in June. There were shockwaves this week when President Donald Trump appointed Vince McCone, a gay man, as acting Secretary of Labor. McCone brings over 30 years of experience in federal government roles. McCone has previously led the Department of Labor's Office of the Assistant Secretary for Administration and Management. Plus, he has been on the board of DC's Capital Pride Alliance for 15 years. And now he has resigned from the board, just months before DC's World Pride event. World Pride is expected to attract over 2 million visitors in May and June. His present tenure as Secretary of Labor will be brief, as Trump has nominated Lori Chavez DeRumer to be the permanent secretary. The Senate is expected to confirm her soon, though for a short period, McCone's appointment marks Trump's second appointment of an out gay man to a cabinet position. In November, Trump nominated Scott Bessent as Treasury Secretary. The Senate Finance Committee approved Besset's nomination last week. On Thursday, one of the first things McCone did was took care of sending an email to all Labor Department staffers saying, quote, "We are taking steps to close all agency diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility offices and end all DEIA-related contracts in accordance with President Trump's executive orders. These programs divided Americans by race, wasted taxpayer dollars, and resulted in shameful discrimination," end quote. The same letter has been sent to other federal agencies. What a twist of irony, a gay man working for the anti-LGBTQ Trump administration is dismantling DEI programs. You know, I'm not surprised that Capital Pride had a snake in the grass for the last 15 years. You know, the first piece I ever did in the Advocate magazine in 2017 was attacking Capital Pride for having a long history of different issues. I found them, my particular critique was, it was just a one giant big advertisement. It was just one company after another. But they've also faced lots of accusations about racism, classism, not wanting to be more inclusive. And you know, are we really surprised that a guy like this has been part of their leadership team for 15 years? 15 years.
Well, there's one part of me that thinks of this saying, you know, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And there's that part about like, okay, well, he's one of our community in the inside, you know, but I know these folks operate in a very, very conniving way. And they know what they're doing. They strategically targeted him to make him or show him out to be a sellout. The same thing they did with Snoop Dogg, because Snoop Dogg performed for the inauguration, and he did a video prior to them approaching him talking about, oh, I want to see what N-word is going to perform for the president. Yes, master, I'm a perform. So he was making a mockery, and they saw that video and they said, let's go and offer him money and make him out to be a sellout. Now he's getting a lot of flack, Snoop Dogg, from the black community. And I think the same thing's going to happen with this one.
There was one of the MSNBC hosts actually posted the Snoop Dogg video, and I was like, of course he did that. How'd you, like, but you know, I think the thing with Cattle Pride specifically is, if Cattle Pride didn't have all those different issues over the last decade, I wouldn't necessarily put the connection, but seeing the two together, I'm like, no, there's something more there. But Bobby, what are your thoughts?
Also, you know, bear in mind that he is a cisgender, white, gay man who
very
has
good point.
very few things to lose. I mean, marriage equality, obviously, will affect us all. But you know, the other things in terms of discrimination, he is not getting thrown out of the military for being trans. He is not, you know, getting, he can probably still walk in and ask for services from someone without someone saying that my religion doesn't allow that. And, you know, that he is, let me put it this way, he is the more privileged part of the LGBTQ plus community, especially since he's wealthy.
Yeah, and both of the gay cabinet appointees are definitely very wealthy men.
Exactly. And all these, and of course, the whole thing with this is the Republicans basically throwing out tokens, right? You know, they always have. Last time they had a black man for HUD. They have a Hispanic woman for so and so, and when you say that they're racist and their race policies are racist, and that, no, this is our gay something, or this is our Latina something. Well, how dare you call me racist? You're racist.
If the Democrats were better on representation, then they wouldn't have that. Like the fact that Trump has now had twice as many people serving in his cabinet that are gay as Joe Biden, and he was the first president to put a gay cabinet official, is shocking to me. Why haven't the Democrats done better on these?
Now, I will say this. Obama did appoint a transgender person to his cabinet when he was president, and I thought that was very progressive. So, I almost wonder if it's two sides of one coin. Good cop, bad cop. And all of that's being done to just create debates like we're doing now, and kind of like smoke and mirrors, and really distract the population.
And the two parties work with the rich to hold us all down? No, never.
Absolutely. Not even inside our community. There are going to be some people inside our community, even on Will and Drive, saying that, Trump is not that bad. He has gay cabinet members, the same way that he hold up in 2017 when he held up the upside down pride flag and say that I'm the most pro-gay president ever, and then turn around and swiftly basically cancel every anti-discrimination law we ever have.
It's all propaganda.
Exactly.
It really is.
Well, and with that propaganda, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Dr. Bobby Huen, and let's queer up the USA view. Will Idaho's resolution to repeal marriage equality be the model for the USA? Idaho's Republican senators are warning the nation, saying you could be next. A recent resolution, House Joint Memorial 1, urges the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn Obergefell versus Hodges, a law that brought national marriage equality. This measure claims the Supreme Court overstepped by requiring states to recognize same-sex marriages. It calls for a return to a, quote, natural definition, unquote, of marriage, one man and one woman. While non-binding, the resolution is still harmful. According to the ACLU of Idaho, it sends a message to LGBTQ communities that they don't deserve equal rights. In a statement to the Advocate, ACLU spokesperson said, quote, "The legislature's purpose in introducing a toothless statement to intimidate, ostracize, and bully gay and queer people. However, they cannot do that effectively if our communities refuse to tolerate this kind of bigotry. And we will support Idahoans in fighting back against bad legislation," end quote. Well, for one thing, they can't really unilaterally throw it back.
Yeah.
And also there are some real legal questions about, they're going to ask Idaho people Idaho government or legislature to demonstrate how equal marriage has material harm to other straight marriages. I mean, you don't lose money out of it. You don't. You don't. I mean, on the other hand, and Alex, who is always the skeptic of authority, thinks that, the Supreme Court overturned it regardless, except that they still need a good reason to do it.
Yeah.
So the way, the far right tends to do these sorts of playbooks is this is the first signal.
Yes.
Some state's going to pass an anti-marriage equality law, and that's how you then get it into the court. It's funny because we were mentioning my work at Options, I had two writers write a piece because President Biden actually signed into law the Respect for Marriage Act in 2022. I want to give a little shout out to Jackie Goldman and Grant Pike, because your piece I had to reread a little bit for today because, allegedly the Democrats passed a law to protect us from this. But the Respect for Marriage Act, I believe it's called, all it did is it protects currently married LGBTQ people from their rights being rescinded. And I found that to be, this is the thing that really scares me, and that Jackie and Grant had wrote about, of what's going to happen is the Republicans are going to move forward on this.
Yes.
And and instead of enshrining marriage rights into law, Joe Biden, with the backing of the Human Rights Campaign and the National LGBTQ Task Force and the National Lesbian Law Center, all love this bill that only protected the currently married. And that really scares me about our chickens are coming home to roost of not doing our job.
I was saying this during the whole election. See, they were targeting the trans community. They used this as a political scare tactic and also a political wedge. And the gay community, a lot of the gay community had this attitude like, oh, that's the trans people's problem. They're the one getting targeted. But I was saying, once they come for us, they're coming for y'all. They're coming for gay marriage next. Right. And this is an example of them starting it.
And people need to remember, there are 30 states that have anti-marriage equality laws on the books. So if the Supreme Court made a ruling, since the Democrats did not make a federal protection, people, including us in Florida, Thursdays, we will lose marriage equality instantly. And there will be no path for us to get it back electorally anytime soon.
That will cause extreme chaos everywhere. Lawsuits will definitely fly.
Yeah.
To sue for what? To sue the Supreme Court? We don't like your ruling?
No, not that. State courts. The state court will have to determine if existing marriages still deserve protection, even if you cannot conduct new marriages.
Those will be protected under the Freedom for Marriage Act, under the federal law.
Respect of marriage.
That's a big, but also people forget the reason why the Supreme Court will probably throw marriage equality out was what was the case that was the linchpin to marriage equality, that protection of privacy. Was it women's rights? So when we took away, that's right. So when we took Roe v. Wade away, you took away queer people's rights, and the fact that it hurts trans people, it hurts queer people, it hurts racial minorities, and it hurts gay people. But when you take one right away, they all fall.
And listen, they knew what they were doing. Trump, when he was president in 2016, during his term, he put 3 conservative judges on the Supreme Court. And also on the lower courts all around the country. I think it was like 198 judges. I think
there might have been a 90.
Actually, now,
I can't recall. It was a big number.
It was a big number.
Actually, Biden judges now outnumber Trump judges.
Well, that's good.
One
that's
of his legacies.
Well, give that another week. He's back. He'll outdo him in a week.
But more importantly, there are going to be serious this next 4 years is going to be a legal dogfight. We need to support people like ACLU, Southern Poverty Law Center, the legal bodies, the legal advocates. They're going to advocate for our community.
Unfortunately, the Biden administration didn't pass the laws needed for that to be an effective avenue. I think we have to start talking more about street activism. I mean that in a polite street activism, but like, well,
Acts up.
non-violent is what I mean. But like, really mess with the power. Like, you know, do a sit-in in a street and stuff. Like, do that sort of stuff that like really mess.
Not
with
in
society.
Florida, where Ron DeSantis decriminalizes if drivers run over protesters on public roads.
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to hit someone with my car because I don't want to have to deal with the paint job being fixed.
Well, you also drive a Tesla.
The law is very selective.
Musk will probably remotely detonate your car if you try to, if you try to go to a protest. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer non-profit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into the big LGBT story for today. I'm Rajee Narinesingh, and let's queer up travel. Visit Lauderdale invites you to the R Fund Foundation's LGBTQ Philanthropy Awards on February 8th. Visit Lauderdale invites you to the R Fund Foundation South Florida LGBTQ Philanthropy Awards. This special event is presented by Bank of America, Private Bank. It will take place on February 8th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Tickets are available for $75. The 6th annual cocktail reception and award ceremony will honor outstanding individuals and organizations. The 2025 awardees include the Wharton Foundation, named Philanthropist of the Year. Melba Dillon will receive the Commitment to a Cause Award. Jeff Delmay will be honored with the Next Generation Philanthropy Award. Join the celebration of generosity, volunteerism, and emerging leadership in the South Florida LGBTQ community. More information is available at visitlauderdale.com.
Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ and ally community. If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBT digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of HOTspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Dr. Bobby Huen, and on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Rajee Narinesingh and Alex Morash, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ world, we hope you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, be transformative, and queer. Good night.
Love, peace, and blessings.